So a good customer reached out to us wanting a DMG 104, one with a white bottom shell and the blue Pokemon top. So usually start with a DS Lite board and we strip it down. I'll film some of the process so you can see what's involved. So the usual process is to remove a lot of the parts. So we remove the battery terminal, the volume slider, they're both cartridge slots. We usually leave the power source but resolder it, same as the audio jack, and obviously you have to leave the Wi-Fi chip or it won't power up. So then it's the tedious task of soldering each wire one by one to try to get something back to resemble how it was previously and to fit in the DMG shell. The next step, we usually get a DMG shell, cut it out so everything can fit. Then we mount the bottom screen with an adapter cable, and we usually use the Raspberry Pi adapter board. It's got all the additional buttons there, as well as the ear jack to solder on later on. And then the next process is to drill out the additional buttons. Lucky there's a template there to make it straight and even. So we've drilled out the top buttons. We found that the ideal size is to use an 11mm, so we usually tap it with a 1mm and then just work our way up in 1mm increments till we get the size ready to go. And you do have to remove one of the clips on the rear there to fit. Next we need to tackle the rear of the shell. So the rear is a lot more trickier, so you have to drill out the holes in the back as well. We usually use some tactile buttons, and then we trim out the whole internals of the shell in the rear, and we just reuse the DS battery case, so you can remove the battery and recharge it. And you do need to cut out the top of the shell for the cartridge slots. That's the most difficult part, so we usually use a Dremel for that, and you need to trim it down so it fits. So then you can mount the tactile buttons, and we use the USB-C charging slot in the rear as well. And we usually use some thicker cable there. So now trying to fit some of the internals and solder onto the cartridge slot. So we've soldered on the earphone jack and just test fitted some buttons for now. They work great. Then we moved on to doing the rear of the shell, where we fitted the DS slot, the Game Boy Advance slot, the cables for the slider, the USB-C recharging port, the trigger buttons, and also the ear jack port cables. And as you can see, the back's been all cut out and ready to go. So now we have to cut out the top of the shell to fit the SP hinge and screen, and also solder the AB, XY directional buttons. So I just did a test fit, and both cartridge slots work great, which is fantastic news. So time to screw it down and connect the remaining ports. So all we've got left to do now is to tidy up the cabling a little bit, mount the top cover, and test it out. It's ready to go. So I just finished assembling it. As you can see, the left and right buttons are on the rear. Rechargeable battery from the DS. It's on the back there. It's got the Game Boy Advance and DS slots, as well as USB-C charging and a more modern volume control button on the side. Came out not bad. Okay, let's turn it on, see how we go. We'll start with the advanced games. Feels great. Controllers are nice and tight. Lost a bit of concentration there, that's okay. Now time to test it with the DS. Oops. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this will give you some insight into the DMG 104 build. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Take care.